Number 6, Let It Rock from 1996. This is a pretty cool album, and I think that what's really amazing about this record is that there weren't really that many bands in the mid-90s that didn't really adjust to the grunge and alternative rock scene. Great White were one of a very few bands that actually kept playing what they got famous for and what they played in the 80s. There are only 2 tracks where you can hear that grunge and alternative rock influence, and those are My World and Lives in Chains.
These days I can never try to make sense of it all. My world is hanging on a line here in my world, searching for some peace in time.
But the rest of the album is pretty much traditional Great White. You have some old school rock and roll like Little Mama or Ain't No Way to Treat a Lady, some bluesy songs like Hand on the Trigger, for example. There's even a Led Zeppelin influenced track called Man in the Sky. This is funny thing that when I had my first band, Bad Pools, I had a guitar player, still one of my best friends, and I was playing him Great White and he told me, wow, that singer sounds exactly like Robert Plant. And I said, no he doesn't. But Great White actually released a Led Zeppelin tribute album in the 90s, and he really does sound like Robert Plant. He sounds like American and a much more technical version of Robert Plant. In my opinion, Jack Russell, one of the best rock singers I've ever heard. He was in his prime, he was fantastic. In my opinion, he was better than Robert Plant because he was more technical, he had bigger range, and he was simply able to deliver those songs, you know, with much more of an ease. But yeah, you know, I don't think that similarity to Robert Plant's voice is that audible in Great White's music. There are 2 tracks that have almost like a country vibe. Easy.
You're so easy to love, like a warm summer night. You're so easy to love, and it sure feels right. You're so easy to love.
And then a beautiful ballad, Miles Away. And there's even a traditional Great White ballad, Where Is the Love, that will remind you of some of their other ballads like She Only or Save Your Love. So yeah, I think that this is a very colorful album. It has more of a summer vibe for me, and yeah, it's a very good album. It's a great album. Number 5, Can't Get There From Here from 1999. This may come maybe as a surprise that it's so high. This doesn't seem to be a very appreciated record from Great White. This is actually a record that was a pretty big surprise at that time because they had some success with it, especially with the rock and roll single Rolling Stoned. And I personally really like this album. I love that there are some blues songs like Loveless Age, but most of the record falls under the category of southern rock. Songs like Wooden Jesus, Ain't No Shame, Sister Mary.
And it ain't no shame, ain't no shame to be loved. And you better believe it, 'cause when you're there, there's nothing else you'd ever wanna do. Ain't no shame to be loved. Can't you hear me? Look inside, your heart will tell you true. All my love.
And this album has a very strong summer vibe for me. It's like at the beginning of a summer or in spring, you're like driving, you know, the sun is setting. It's a beautiful record, very strong songwriting. Songs just, they are really very good. There are only 2 songs that, in my opinion, kind of feel out of place, or maybe they don't really fit the record that well. It's Gone to the Dogs, which is definitely the heaviest song from Great White. And Jack Russell, who was, in my opinion, in his best form on this record, singing-wise, he just proves that he would have been a phenomenal heavy metal singer if he had to be. His voice is great, and this song is very cool, but it doesn't really fit the record because the whole record, as I've said, is kind of that chilling rock, southern rock, and suddenly this heavy metal song kicks in, and you know, if you're driving a car at that point you will probably crash or something.
Never had a lover keep a leash on me.
also Psychedelic Hurricane, which is a little bit grungy as a song, and it has much darker atmosphere than the rest of the album. But yeah, this is a very, very good album that I really love coming back to. Okay, we have 4 records left, and these following 4 records are an essential listen for all of you who like rock music. So let's start. At number 4 I have Twice Shy from 1989. I know that many Great White fans may be surprised that this record is here, because this is their most commercially successful album, and this is also considered to be the best album from Great White. If you like hard rock, glam rock, hair metal, if you are into 80s and you have been through some lists of best 80s rock albums, this album appeared on all of those lists, I can guarantee that. And yeah, it is a great album. It is one of those albums from Great White that has that night atmosphere that I can listen to at night, and usually in winter. And the first 3 tracks are just killers: Move It, Hard the Hunter, and Highway Nights. Highway Nights is a very beautiful and interesting track, and I think that that use of double bass is pretty interesting. There's a piano-based ballad, Angel Song. What a beautiful song. Even the music video was shot at night. Then Mr. Bone is very groovy, and the chorus is very, very innovative in my opinion. It's a fantastic song. By the way, every time Jack starts singing this song in verses, it reminds me a lot of the song Black Velvet. Then Baby's on Fire is a catchy song. Then you have this blues epic masterpiece, House of Broken Love. What a song. Wonderful acoustic ballad, She Only. And a song that is a cover, but was their biggest hit, Once Bitten, Twice Shy. This is pretty much as rock and roll as a song can get. There are also 2 bonus tracks on a Japanese version of a CD, and as I've always listened to the Japanese version of a CD, I can't imagine this disc without those 2 bonus tracks, both of which are actually covers. Bitch is Another Woman, which is covers of Rolling Stones and Foreigner, and a country Wasted Rock Ranger. So yeah, this is a phenomenal record. At number 3 I have Psycho City from 1992. This is definitely Great White's masterpiece. I'm not sure why I'm using this. This is when they were at the top of their game, in my opinion. And if grunge didn't happen in 1992, this record would probably have gotten much more attention and promotion. It is again very night-like record in terms of atmosphere. It's got a fantastic opener, Psycho City. The second track, Step On You, is as great as hard rock can get. Then we have 2 bluesy jams, Old Rose Motel and Maybe Someday. Both are beautiful and both have the same running time of 7 minutes and 24 seconds. Then a heavy rock song, Big Goodbye, acoustic rock song, Talk to Me. Then there's a funky, I Want You. This is, I think, the weakest track on the album, but it's pretty good nevertheless. Then you've got rock and roll, Never Trust a Pretty Face, the bluesy closer, Get On Home, and one of the best tracks on this album and one of the best ballads I've ever heard is Love Is a Lie. This is phenomenal masterpiece ballad. I can't give it more superlatives. It's fantastic. I think it's about 9 minutes long. No, there's no running time. records left, and this was a difficult decision to make, but here it is. At number 2 I have Shot in the Dark from 1986. This was the second album from Great White, and it still is in that 80s metal / hard and heavy style of the first album, but it has some more use of keys and even some bluesy vibe. I mean, the first track, She Shakes Me, is fantastic. Then What Do You Do? Then you've got a very badass cover, Face the Day, which is much better in my opinion than the original. Then you've got Soully song Gimme Some Love, and the second half of the album is fantastic. We've got so many 80s classics in my opinion. Shot in the Dark, that key part after the second chorus is amazing. Then Is Anybody There is very artistic. Runaway sounds like from some 80s movie. It has very soundtrack-like atmosphere. It's beautiful. And an absolute masterpiece. Wow, I'm using that word a lot. And a very, very beautiful ballad at the end, Waiting for Love. What a song. I mean, this record is wow. Okay, and number 1, Once Bitten from 1987. This was a breakthrough album from Great White. This is a record that made them pretty famous, and it's, I think, their second best-selling album. And this record is pretty much perfect from start to finish, just like the previous 3 albums I've been talking about. Lady Red Light is just one of the best rock songs. That shredding riff at the beginning was, I think, used by MTV at the beginning of those rock music videos, shows or whatever. And that keyboard part after the second chorus, goosebumps every time. Then Gonna Getcha is a great bluesy hard rock song. Then you've got Rock Me, a 7 minutes song that really builds up until it explodes. What a great song. Then All Over Now is just so optimistic. Then you've got Rock and Roll Mistreater, 2 songs reminiscent of the first 2 albums. Hard and Heavy, Never Change Hard, and On the Edge. Then Fast Road is an interesting song. It's essentially a blues metal song, because it is a blues song, but you have a double bass, which is very interesting combination. And a beautiful acoustic ballad, Save Your Love. So yeah, this is fantastic, get it. Did you like my list? If you are a fan of Great White, you can let me know in the comment section below what is your own list. I'm really interested in reading yours, guys, because I guess every fan will have a different list. You can follow me on Facebook or on Instagram. You can find the links to both in the description of this video below. If you like this video, don't forget to like, to subscribe, to check out my own original music, my live performances, and my other worst to best videos. Thanks a lot for watching.